I got it.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Let's see all of
Hi.
you. There we go. There we go.
Afternoon.
How many are we?
Oh, wow.
Right now, I believe we are,
Hi, Frank.
hang on, I could do the math. I think right now we're about 40, and I think there'll be more to join.
Okay, should I stick to the first screen then? Because I can't see 40 people.
I have to, as long as everybody can see you,
Okay.
we
Yeah, but I
know what
wanna
we
see
look
you
like,
guys
and I know what I look like. I see myself every day when I brush my teeth. It's very unexciting.
What are you drinking, Gloria? This is Bobby Stoner.
Hello. My recipe of Cosmo.
Oh,
I thought you
Cosmo.
guys were supposed to get
Glorious
it.
Cosmo.
I have a Cuba Libre for you. This is Bobby
Well,
Stoner.
Salud. I also
I have a
have,
Cuba Libre.
I have my coffee cup, which is also a Cosmo. Is also a Cosmo.
Ralphie Rosario is on the call. Thank you, Ralphie, for joining.
My pleasure. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Enos is on the call.
What's that sign behind you? What does it say?
So what I can do, if you'd like, I can introduce you to everybody, or they can step in. I think it'll be a little bit easier if I
Okay.
do it, and then we can just get on to the most important person, which is you. What do you think?
Really? Okay. Yeah,
All right, well,
I'd love
let
to
me-
see who's on.
All right, let's
Is it gonna
try
pop
it.
up? Because if somebody's talking, supposedly.
Gloria, I'm gonna start with somebody you don't know well. His name is Frank Amadeo.
Yeah, I don't know that guy.
You don't know Frank manages Gloria and has forever.
Oh.
Great job.
He's the president of our company.
Like I said,
He
he's the
wears
president of
many
your
hats.
company.
He
We
wears
have
many
John
hats.
Homan, he's a Billboard DJ. We have Larry Cowden, he's a Billboard DJ. Tracy Young, of course,
I
Billboard
know
DJ.
Tracy, we're friends.
And this year's Grammy Award winner. We have Joe
Yes.
Bostro. We have Eric Cupper, the remixer and producer.
Woo!
We have Albert Bourdon, DJ Fresh, the Billboard DJ. Joe Ross from Texas, Billboard
Yeah.
DJ. Mike Martorell from Florida, Billboard DJ.
Hey.
I feel like this is sort of a game show, you know? We have
Well,
Derek
right now,
Perry of
you
the
all
Perry
look like
Twins,
Hollywood
Billboard
squares.
DJ and remixers from Los Angeles. Sam Meyer, he's the head of social media for my company. DJ Eldon Feldman from
Hello.
Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Hey,
Tony
Eldon.
Richard, the Billboard DJ. DJ Nappy, Mix Show and Billboard DJ. Shannon Williams, party promoter and Billboard DJ. How am I doing? Am I doing all right?
Great.
I'll be checking in periodically to tell you how I'm doing.
I'm looking at all the
Doing
pages.
fabulous.
We have Manny Ferrerios from Boston. Now replanted in New Jersey, but Boston still loves him.
Hi, Gloria.
Diane Citron,
Pride of Atlantic
a
City.
lot of people in Florida. Steve Scapellis from Los Angeles, Pacific
Wow.
Coast
Hey,
DJs.
Steve.
Hold
That's
on, am I
crazy.
missing anybody? I'm sure that I am. Let me keep going.
Steve.
Hello?
Frank Serralo, who, by the way, is really responsible for our involvement and therefore your involvement in this call. DJ
Also
Trent
has-
Bond.
And also has the best company name ever.
He does. You know something, Gloria? He really does. May I be Frank? I was going to rename my company May I Be Brad. It just doesn't work. I'm sticking with what I know. Joni Stanko from Florida. James Capolanga, who works at Sirius XM and from New York. Okay, you know
Talented
what?
remixer as well.
Olin Belmaris
Hello, Bobby
and
Stoner.
Ken from Los Angeles. And we basically run out of time, so you guys have a good day. Peter Nelson, who's the general manager for my company and is responsible
Peter.
for all technical
Hello,
support
Gloria.
because I know nothing when it comes to that.
Oh my gosh, this is incredible.
Now that we did the
Who's the man?
introductions, let's talk a little bit about our hostess of ceremonies. Gloria, I have to tell you that personally I'm a fan. I have been a fan for many years. And I just did a little background check on you, and I found out so much information that I
Uh-oh.
did not know. So I want you, while I read the accolades, feel free to text your friends right now, Gloria. I don't want to bore you, but
Oh my
people
God.
on this call may find this very interesting because a lot of this information I did not know.
I am worried now.
You should be painfully worried.
Okay.
Let's start. I'm just going to run down the list.
Good. It's all
And
good.
hopefully it'll be before nighttime. But the list will start with seven Grammys. We'll go into
Yay.
100 million albums sold. Should we talk about 38 #1 Billboard singles?
Hallelujah.
performing. By the way, I'm reading this because there's no way
I
at
figured.
my age that I could possibly memorize any of it.
Nor do you need to. Do we really need to go through that whole thing?
Well, it may be boring. It may be boring for you, but I'm impressed with it. So I'll make it quick.
I'm impressed with it too because I worked my ass off and now
Amen.
So enjoy the moment.
Yeah.
Super Bowl halftime show. Very impressive. Kennedy Center honoree. I actually watched that program. This is amazing. You received the Library of Congress Gershwin Prize for Popular Songs. Presidential Medal of Freedom with your husband, Emilio. You performed at the closing ceremonies for the Olympic Games. You performed in front of 5 presidential administrations. You have a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. You're inducted into the Latin Songwriters Hall of Fame. Should I go on? Please.
I'm tired.
Let me. In movies, you starred in Music of the Heart with Meryl Streep, For the Love of Country with Andy Garcia. You were in TV shows Glee, Jane the Virgin, and Frasier. You phoned into Frasier back in the day.
I did. I was Maria.
And way before, Broadway was sort of inundated with these music retrospectives, you and Emilio came with On Your Feet, the story of you and your husband Emilio on Broadway. So that's the artistic achievement. But I must address the activism, the humanitarian, and the philanthropic interest, because this is very close to my heart, and I mean very close to my heart. You fight for human rights. You fight for gay rights. You fight for animal rights. Sorry, I'm getting a little emotional. You're part of Music Cares, hurricane relief. You donate your time to St. Jude's.
Yep.
And you're involved also in COVID relief. And, there are, sorry, I didn't expect to get.
I love that so much. Thank you.
But, I remember watching the Hollywood Foreign Press when they gave Tom Cruise the Icon Award, and they asked Steven Spielberg to present that award to him. Steven Spielberg said something about Tom Cruise, which I will say about you. And he said that there are many people in Hollywood, and I'll say many people in the music business, that are around for a couple of years. And that's fantastic. But Steven Spielberg called Tom Cruise a lifer, which meant that he will be in his business for life because of what he's contributed. And there is no question in my mind, because I believe, I won't divulge the age, but I did Wikipedia. You've been doing this for the better part of 50 years. And you are as relevant now in both your life and in your music, and you give back. And we live right now, unfortunately, in a very selfish world. We try not to surround ourselves with that, but everybody on this call was invited on this call because they are like that. They care. They care about each other. We care about the people that we represent. We care about the music that we program and promote. And I will tell you that we work harder for those we care about.
No.
I mean, I certainly do. So, with
I'm
that,
verklempt.
Sorry?
I'm verklempt.
So
You're
is
verklempt.
Brad. Take the
I'm
lot
Jewish.
to
With a
verklempt
last name
him.
like LeBeau, I get it. Verklempt means a little
Emotional.
chalked
Yeah,
up.
that was a,
So,
gosh.
this is not a typical interview. It's not the way I do things. People on this call know me. I'm a little touched. Call it what you will, but I don't believe in conventional wisdom. But the first thing I want to address is the impact that music and, believe it or not, the sense of smell have on memory. And I'm going somewhere with this, so just bear with me. So I could not hear a song for 40 years. But the moment I hear that song, I am right back to where I was the first time I heard that song. I can walk down the street and pass by a woman or a man who's wearing perfume or a cologne, and it evokes the same image to me I can tell you where I was, with whom I was, and what I was wearing. And I will tell you this, that when anytime somebody mentions your name, I'm dating myself right now because a lot of people won't date me, but I'm dating myself because when I hear your name, I think about Dr. Beat by Miami Sound Machine.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
When I hear that song, I'm 19, I'm in New Jersey, I'm dancing at a club, it's about 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm drinking Maduri melon balls.
Ooh. Ooh.
This is where I go with this song. Everybody on this call has those songs. We have those smells. We have those memories. So my question to you, Gloria, is everybody on this call, and you had a moment. We had a moment when we realized that we want to be in this business.
Yes.
Whatever it is, DJs, writers, producers, artists. What was your moment? When was that moment? And how old were you?
That's not an easy question because
I know, it's my job.
yeah, exactly. Okay. When I sang since I talk, since I'm 2 years old, singing was a part of me. My mom could only put a diaper on me if she sang to me. And I would melt and just like let her do, put everything fine. She was the diva of the family. She was a singer, dancer, actor, like star of her school. So to me, music was always very much my heart and soul. But I didn't like being the center of attention. So never did I imagine that I would gravitate towards the career part of it, that part. But music was just a part of me. And my grandmother, who was my hero, and also the consummate stage mother. She tried to get my mom a career. She did. My mom in Cuba won a contest to be Shirley Temple's double. And they were going to fly her to, Hollywood and have her do the movies and dub them in Spanish. And she was raring to go. My grandma had her bags packed, and my grandfather said, no way is my daughter, because one of the parents had to give up the rights. So my mom's career was kind of nipped in the bud. She got a PhD in education and continued. But in Cuba, this career wasn't that well seen. So I'm 2 years old in Miami with my mother. I start singing. It was a natural part of me, and she loved it. And I would perform, like she would make me sing for the family. And then when I learned guitar, I would come out and sing for them. But I'd stare at the floor and wonder why they were crying. And she would say, no, I go, why do you make me sing if they're gonna cry? And she would say, well, they're not crying because they don't like you. They're crying because you're moving them. But again, never imagining that this would happen. So I got called to a friend's house one night. I had just graduated high school. It was May of '75. And they asked me to come to this guy's house because he wanted to put together a band. And I would play at the church with him. Rafael Aguilion was his name. He was in our brother school, Belen. And he invited me and he said, look, I'd like you to sing in the band. It's for one night, that's it. He goes, somebody's coming over to give us some pointers. And the one that arrived was Emilio with his accordion and very short shorts, which kind of, the accordion covered the shorts, so he kind of looked like he was naked. And I was sitting on the floor and I look up and he decides he's gonna play some stuff, and I'm looking at his hands, which I love, and his legs. Okay, but I digress. And then we did our gig, Emilio left, and in a wedding that I went to that summer with my mom that she dragged me to and guilted me into, actually, he was playing with his band. So I think that when I walked into that wedding and I see this band, they're all in tuxes, and he's playing Do the Hustle on the accordion, which I found very brave. But there was this feeling of joy, and there was ángel, they call it in Spanish. They had charisma, and everybody was having a blast, and it was a wonderful night. And he runs into me and asks me to sing for the band. So I think that at that moment that my mom goes, oh, please, you know, sing for the band. She didn't know what was coming, or she never would have said that, but well. I sit in with the band, and I think feeling the power of that band behind me, I felt this thing that night. And then at the end of the night, Emilio Gajez said, hey, you know, we don't have a singer. Would you like to join? And I thought, my mom's not going to like this. And I, at the time, already had 2 jobs and was going to start school full time. This would be my 3rd job. So I said no. And then he found me 2 weeks later and called me and said, look, you know, you can do this. We only rehearse a couple nights a week and we perform on the weekends. You can do this. And I really wanted to. And that's when I thought, at that moment, when I really wanted to, that suddenly I imagined a different possibility. Because up to then I was a psychologist. And then when I graduated, that I'd already been in the band a couple of years, I decided to go to the Sorbonne in France, where I'd been accepted to study diplomacy and international law. But then I fell in love with Emilio, and it kind of like, you know, I also listen to the universe, and despite whatever plan I might have, I do, you know, listen to the messages. And my grandma told me once, she said, you know, one day this opportunity to sing is going to land in your lap, and I hope you're smart enough to recognize it and not ignore it, because you're not going to be happy unless you do this. This is your gift. You're supposed to be doing this. And those, my grandma's words reverberated in my head when that happened, and then everything switched. But it's not like I grew up wanting to be in the business, because I knew I had to be independent. I had to have a job. I had to help my family, and singing is a big chance you take, or anything in music is a chance you take. And I'm glad I did, and I'm glad I met Emilio, because both of us had that same feeling. He had a band in Cuba when he was 8. He loved music, and he still had a day job, and well, a couple. He had a day job and he was an entrepreneur. So we're both kind of cut from the same cloth that way, and we rarely differ in business or music, and it's worked out pretty good.
So
I would say,
you know, I'm just going to say that I think you have a future in this business.
Oh,
I want to put
at
it out
least I
there.
have a past.
You should try doing it professionally. Yeah.
I just want to put it out there. I would stay with. They say that, you know, men make plans and God laughs, and that may be a very interesting story. So the interesting story, as a sidebar to what you were saying, is that, you know, I talked about Dr. Beat, which came out I think in 1984, but in 1984 it was Miami Sound Machine that recorded it. You did not have headline credit.
I did not.
And I
Nor
believe
did I want it.
I believe it was in 1987 when it became Miami Sound Machine and Gloria Estefan with Rhythm Is Gonna Get You. Is that correct?
And not my idea.
I understand. Once again,
I fought it tooth and nail.
right.
Because Emilio came to me and said, you know, I want to add your name. I go, why? You know, we have a brand that we've built that's fantastic. And even though Miami Sound Machine wasn't my favorite name at the beginning, because we weren't a machine, I saw us as very organic. So when the guy that had signed us to a very local contract in Miami said, I wanted just Miami, but you can't incorporate a city name, I later found out. So he suggested Miami Sound Machine, and I didn't have any vote. It was Emilio's band. So it wasn't a name that I particularly thought was a great one because of the machine part, because we were so not that. But somehow it worked. It worked great. And then when Emilio, right when he added my name, he wanted to add my name, I had been invited by Placido Domingo, Placido Domingo and Andrew Lloyd Webber, who had written a musical about Goya, the painter. And they wanted me to sing some songs on the record and also do a duet with Placido. So of course I was super excited, but Emilio goes, I'm gonna put your name on the next album, because he goes, what are we gonna put on the record with Placido? Placido Domingo sings with the girl from Miami Sound Machine? No. And he wanted to add my name. So, again, I said, well, I don't think it's necessary, but he did, and he was smart. He was the last member of the band that was really, part of the Miami Sound Machine was his name. It belonged to him.
Right.
It was his band. So when he stopped performing, he wanted to add my name, and then he said, Miami Sound Machine always went on the road with me, but then he said, it's you. It's all about you. And
Well,
he felt that way.
Another good decision by your husband, clearly.
Yeah, it would never have been mine, ever.
So it was, let's see, 33 years ago, since the original version of Rhythm Is Gonna Get You.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Right, 33 years.
Wow.
I was 2.
And that's the year.
Nobody can hear me. I say I was 2. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Is this thing on?
And I was 1.
Right. So I'm going to. I hope I won't embarrass by asking Frank Serralo to tell the story, because he told me the story earlier today. This story about. You know what? I'm not even going to preface it, Frank. You got to jump in. You got to tell the story. This is priceless.
Gloria is a firm believer in destiny, and so am I. So, I told Brad that Rhythm Is Gonna Get You is like a 360 moment for me, because back in 1987, when I was working 4 part-time jobs, and one of them was being a mobile DJ on the weekend, I was driving home, and I heard, if you want to be in Gloria Estefan and Miami Sound Machine's video, Rhythm Is Gonna Get You, go to blah, 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 place in Hollywood.
This is brilliant, brilliant.
Now, mind you, there was no Epic in this equation at that time. So this is why this is so magical and destiny-driven. So I was one of the rag wavers in the front row. And 3 days after the shoot, I forgot to say one important thing. At the end of the shoot, which was a long shoot, and I thought, I still love this, no matter how long I'm here. Gloria sat at a table and signed 45s like this.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Frank, can you hold that up? Oh my God.
Wow.
Wait, what am I not seeing?
I can't see.
Gotta hold it up higher, Frank.
We can't see anything.
There it is.
Oh, wow.
Wait, now I see Tracy Young. What am I seeing?
Gloria, you have to switch over to the next.
Hi, Gloria.
You have to switch over to the next panel, I think.
Yeah, you have to
Panel
move.
me?
There may be an arrow on your right or on your left.
Oh, okay.
There's an
I see it. I
arrow.
see it.
Can you see?
I see it. Yes.
Can you see the 45 sleeve?
I see it.
Brilliant.
So,
God, I was petrified in that shoot.
so fast forward, 3 days after the shoot, I was sitting at one of my part-time jobs, and I'm saying to myself, what are you doing? Why aren't you just chasing your dream, which is being in music and records? And so I pulled out a phone book, believe it or not, and at that time, Yellow Pages, and I opened it up to record labels and started at A&M and called each one, going down, said, are you hiring for interns? Are you hiring for interns? And when I got to E, they said yes. So I went to Epic in Century City, and they interviewed me, and they just started asking me random questions. And I mentioned that I was in the video, but then it wasn't that so much got their attention, but, I said, I can name, all the Miami Sound Machine top 10 hits in chronological order, and all sorts of other chart facts and figures and all sorts of things. So I got hired as an intern, and I worked as an intern for 8 months there. And then fast forward one more time to 6 years later, and we're at a Winter Music Conference event in Miami on Washington Avenue. And it was like a disco barbecue, and it was Brad, myself, Deborah Pelton, and all the Billboard DJs. And I kept it a secret that Gloria was going to be there, but and I had 12-inch test pressings of Go Away that we had done. That was distributed there, and she was going to sign them all and take pictures and all this other stuff. So while she was signing, 12 inches, I noticed that she was signing everything Love and Luck, Gloria Estefan, and I went, "Oh, that's so funny that you still do that." And she looked at me and said, "How do you know?"
She does.
And so that was the moment where I revealed to her that I had been in the video, because I never wanted to really tell her. It's like too didn't want to be a crazed fan telling her that, I had been following her since day one. But, and that was the moment. And then a few years later, I'm her marketing person. So, it was truly destiny. And in her great album, Destiny, which I love, and that's really it. It's just like, it's a magical thing. That's why I believe in magic. And
I do too. And I also believe that we find each other again. And by the way, how smart was Epic, that was about to start promoting this thing, to hire someone that really cared about the music? Because there's nobody that's going to promote something better than somebody that really likes what they're doing.
You cannot teach passion. It is impossible to teach passion. You cannot do it.
Exactly right.
Interestingly enough, we go ahead 33 years, and there is a remix coming out of Rhythm Is Gonna Get You. It'll be released shortly after, God be willing, COVID passes. We'll wait and see. And this single, as a remix, is part of your new album, which is called Miami 305.
Yes.
So,
Brazil 305.
I'm sorry. If you can speak a little bit about the influence of Brazilian music for this album and for you. The videos from it, by the way, are brilliant.
Oh my gosh. Thank God we were able to get down there before COVID and shoot this documentary that's going to be coming out in October, hopefully. But that really, the idea behind the documentary and the album is the fact that both Brazil and Cuba share these deep African roots, which are roots of all the music of Central and South America to some degree. Because that, depending on the mixes, like in Brazil, when the Yoruba tribe was taken there, as they were taken to Cuba, the Portuguese were there. So they had the cavaquinhos and the tambourines from the Arab countries. Then in Cuba, you had French, Spanish, and English that mixed with that. Like on the Mi Tierra album, the danzón is a French court music mixed with the African rhythms. That's where conga and cha-chas and mambos came from. But at the root, we share a very similar percussive root. And that's where the idea came to do both the record and the documentary. Now, I have a deep love for Brazilian music from when I was a kid. My mom's record collection included the Cuban staples, Cachao, Celia Cruz, Olga Guillot, but then it had the Mexican Trio Los Panchos. It had Andy Williams and Johnny Mathis and Dean Martin. And it had all the big Brazilian artists of Jobim and everybody that in the 50s and 60s was big in Brazil. So I'd be hard pressed to find a musician that doesn't love Brazilian music, because it's so syncopated and complex, yet like sensual. It's a beautiful music. So then when I joined the band at 17, I asked Emilio to have the band learn Corcovado, Desafinado, Chica de Ipanema. And on our first album that had Renacer as Miami Sound Machine, I recorded Mais Que Nada in Portuguese on that record. In '83, we did an album called Rio that celebrated these big hits in Brazil at the time that I wrote Spanish lyrics to. Rita Lee's Lanza Perfume that I did Baila Conmigo, Dingly Bangi, which was like a rap tune from the 70s in Brazil. It was crazy. And I wrote Spanish lyrics. So even then, we dedicated an entire album to songs that were from there that I rewrote lyrics to. So now it's kind of like full circle. Afo Verde from Sony said, look, I know how much you love Brazilian music. What do you think of this idea? I would love to for you to pick songs that you think would work well in Brazilian rhythms. And I want to go to Brazil, pick the top arrangers and musicians, and redo these songs as if you had been born in Brazil. And I went crazy for the idea. I thought, this is great, but I want to do some new songs too. I don't want to just do kind of like a Brazilian greatest hits. I want to put some new music out there. So this single that's out now, Cuando hay Amor, I walked into the studio. Emilio knew I wanted to write some new stuff. And of course he got on it because he's a rocket. He doesn't wait. He's like way ahead of the game. And he was with these two Colombian musicians. One, Nicolás Tobar, a famous singer-songwriter. And the other was actually an intern in our studio. Her mother had styled for me many times, Irma, and she wanted to be a songwriter. So Emilio brings her in like he does because he's an incredibly motivational and inspirational guy. And he says to me, when you're done upstairs, come down. I want to play you a demo I've been working on. And when I hear this song, first of all, my arms went up in the air for some reason, and I started going like this. I'm going, what is this thing? And I said, that song, it made me happy. It like transformed me immediately. And I said, I'm going to record that as one of the originals on my album. We did the video in Brazil when we went to shoot the documentary on the lake that was the place where samba was born. These baianas that are with me in the video are, they earned that title from their mother or their grandmother. It has to be handed down. And the original women that would improvise these songs while they were washing clothes in the lake, they started samba, and then women weren't allowed to do samba because they thought it was a dangerous thing in the streets. So I have this real connection with this music. I've done a gazillion versions live on the road of Conga as a samba, Live for Loving You as a samba, and because it's in our vocabulary, it's there, and I am really excited about exploring that. I think the fans will be blown away with the arrangements, like on Mi Tierra and Ayer and Abriendo Puertas. The arrangements are to die for. They're really incredible and lush and sensual. We focused on the 50s and 60s vibe in Brazil. They used orchestration with string sections and huge horn sections, and it's really, really cool arrangements. And then I wrote English and Spanish lyrics to a Brazilian anthem from like between 8 and 10 years ago, O Homem Falu. That's a unity song that I think for this time it just happens to really be meaningful. And it took this long because my mom got sick and passed, and I couldn't put my voice to the music we had recorded in 2016. I just couldn't. I didn't want to put that sadness that I was feeling on the record, which whenever you do a record, everybody's vibe in that studio gets on the record some way. So for me, it's always been super important that it be a happy and collaborative effort in the studio. And I asked Sony to give me some time because I just couldn't do it. So when I really did go in and finish it, my mom was there right along with me, helping me this time. And to re-sing songs that are some over 3 decades old. I wrote a Spanish version to Here We Are that I kind of like better even than the original, which is hard. I re-sang everything now. Conga is samba, and instead of it's the rhythm of the island, it's the rhythm of Bahia. We did Don't Want to Lose You, Cuts Both Ways. So many. What else? Here We Are. I also re-recorded in English. It's just a really beautiful passion project, and I enjoyed every moment doing it. And I think that we can get some killer remixes from both samba and rhythm, and I'm excited. I know a couple are already out there, and people have really loved it. but you know, it's always fun to do something that you really love and that you're passionate about. And I am very much. If not, what's the point, really?
So what I'm going to do now, if I can, because I don't want to take too much time, everybody's busy, is I'd like to open it up for some questions. If you'd like to ask Gloria some questions. Don't ask me any questions because I have no answers about anything. Great, Shannon, love it.
I did.
I'd like to ask Gloria a question.
This is not exactly a question, but I did want to mention to Gloria, this is Bobby Stoner. I DJ'd an event with you, whether you knew it or not, at Norma Quintero's house.
Oh my God, Norma!
For Roberto Cavalli, because I do fashion runway as well as club. So it was,
Absolutely.
in fact, the guy that I worked with built the whole deck out on the back where everyone was seating.
Oh my gosh.
I was
By the way,
but I played the
talk
music for your show.
talk about coincidences. You see this house I'm sitting in? At one point, it didn't look like this, but it belonged to Luis and Norma Quintero.
Oh.
And Norma kind of made Luis sell the house, which he didn't want to. And I was thrilled that he did because it's on the beach and she loves the social events, but doesn't really like nature too much. So I thank Norma Quintero for forcing Luis to sell his house because I have enjoyed it. We've been here 18 years and it's phenomenal. I remember that event.
We did a lot of fashion in her ballroom.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes, I remember. Not too many people have a ballroom in their house.
No,
but
that's
Norma
very
did.
true. And I noticed on some of your other videos, I saw on one of your shelves, it looked like a Romero Brito sculpture. And I said, it is. So I pulled mine out because I have a.
Oh, there you go.
This is called Dancing Boy.
You know what? He's a wonderful guy, Romero.
And I got this.
He is an amazing human being. He is one of the most generous and helpful people that I know. He's philanthropic. He really wants to do things for the world. And we're very proud of him and happy for him to be in Miami. And I love him. I love his whole family. They're great people. Yeah, I'm glad you have as well.
Yeah, I bought, it was, they were all sitting on the tables for the luncheon at the Biltmore. And I said, I've got to have this one. They have a variety of different ones, but this happened to be Dancing Boy and I like to dance, so.
Good. And Norma never did anything on the small side. I mean, she always did it big.
No,
Yes,
it was outside right there on the.
I'm gonna put Ralphie Rosario on the spot because Ralphie just finished one of the mixes for Rhythm Is Gonna Get You.
Yeah, baby. Woohoo!
And you have history with Ralphie, of course.
So much.
How are you, Gloria?
Hi, Ralphie. How you doing, baby?
I'm fantastic. How's everyone there? How's Emily? How's Emilio?
Everyone's great. We're all healthy. That's all that's important. And everybody ensconced in their own homes, very paranoid, but good. They're good. Naive has got this whole drive-in thing he's doing that I'm really excited about for him. And
that's awesome.
yeah, everybody's good.
Emily was putting out a few videos of some things that she did, and they were just so amazing. You could just see how much energy she had gotten. You know, that star quality and that talent and that vision was. She has it all over again. It's insane. It's insane.
It is, and you know what's beautiful? That she has both the natural talent and the drive to have learned and become a solid musician, because she went to Berklee College of Music, and that's a weird combination. Usually people that have, but she didn't sing till she was 18.
Wow.
She didn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. And that girl, oh my gosh, I'm her biggest fan.
Did she shy away from singing, from the business at all? I was just curious to know. I mean, with everything going on. Well, I mean, you know, even when in the height of your career and everything that was going on and all the craziness the last few decades.
Absolutely. Listen, the minute that baby girl, when she was 2, I did a tour. And the minute that she would create drum sets out of garbage cans and like things around the house, and she'd be playing stuff on it as a baby.
That's awesome.
Then she asked me for piano lessons at 4. She started taking piano. But when she saw what mommy did, I knew she could sing. I have a recording of her singing Calendar Girl that I recorded in my Lexus without her seeing me press the record button, because she wouldn't do it for real. She'd joke sing. And once she saw what I did, that I was on that stage, it's like, I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole. And something happened. She then learned guitar, and every morning she'd go to her 3 instruments. And when she'd come home from school, she'd go to her 3 instruments. And I remember she was a freshman in high school. And she says, Mom, I need to play something for you, because one of my assignments at contemporary band that she had at school was to write a pop song, like some song, a melody and a thing. So she goes to the piano and she plays me a song. And I said to her, that's a hit song. You wrote a hit song. Write lyrics, but don't just try to put words to music. Think about what, you talk to me a lot about that you think that your friends are growing up too fast. Think about something that you really care about and put this to the music. So she tries for a little bit and she goes, you know what, Mom, no, this isn't part of the assignment. It's just to write the music. And I said, okay, but you wrote a hit song. Cut to, she's a senior. Oh, whose puppy is that? I want to see him. Puppy is that? Cut to, she's a senior in high school, and Alex Dinelaris, who wrote the play, who wrote our musical, calls me from Puerto Rico, his writing spot, and says, remember that scene that I told you about that I wanted to have an original song for? Here it is. I want to read it to you. I was elbow deep in the letters of my fans that I was pulling out of the warehouse to use in the show, actual letters. And he reads me the scene, and all I could think of in my brain was the melody that Emily played me 3 years before, only twice. So I text her and I go, Mama, when you come home from school today, we're gonna finish a song because I have an idea for it. And all I can think of is that song. Do you remember this song? And she goes, I kind of remember it, but I know I wrote it down because I had to hand it in, so I'll bring it. And we wrote, if I never got to tell you, the only original tune in On Your Feet. Her and I wrote it that day in like 15, 20 minutes.
Amazing. An amazing story.
She's incredible. She's an amazing musician. And in this same spot right behind me, okay, on that couch, when she came back from her first semester of school, of college, she said to me, Mom, we were here alone. Emilia wasn't here. She said, before I leave, I have to do something, and you can't look at me and you can't cry. I go, great, that cancels it. So we came up here at 1 a.m. She sat on that chair. I sat on that couch. She made me look towards the wall, and she played me a song on her guitar by Alan Stone, and she sang it. And I was blown away. I couldn't believe what I was hearing, quite honestly. And when she went back to school, within 2 months, she wrote and recorded her first album in her apartment by herself. And it was like...
She's a product of you guys. She's equally as amazing as you guys are. It's awesome.
Good day. I wish a good day I could do what that little girl can do. But you know, when she went back, I told her, please record that for me. And I didn't tell Emilio anything. So she sends me the recording and I play it for him. And I say, babe, you got to hear this new singer that I discovered. I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to play this for you. And you're going to tell me, because I'm like blown away. So he goes, okay, let me hear it. He puts headphones on and he looks at me and he goes, oh my God, how old is she? I go, she's 18. He goes, but she's ridiculous. Who is she? I go, your daughter.
Oh.
Wow.
He almost died. It was crazy. I did that to my mom too. She almost died.
That's fantastic. That's awesome. I wanted to tell Frank real quick also, Gloria, while you're here. Frank, thanks again for letting me and Abel do the party time for Gloria way back in the day.
Oh my gosh, which became the single, Hello.
Yeah, so it was awesome.
Yeah.
And after that, our relationship had grown because they presented Albita to me, and then we're coming out. So I was very, very happy to be part of those things. So cheers and thank you again for all the love and everything. Thank you.
And I love that you're still here and still doing it.
Everybody, just like the rest of us, all doing our thing. We got to do it. Got to move it.
You got to do it, and you got to do it for the right reasons.
Well, you were talking about the story with your daughter, and there was a very interesting conversation. An interviewer once asked Madonna when she had her first daughter, Lourdes, and she had asked Madonna, you know, if your daughter wants to go into the music business, what do you think about the fact that her mother is Madonna? And Madonna simply answered, she said, you know, who you know gets you in the door, but what you do keeps you in the room.
That's absolutely
and,
true.
you know, I can't imagine, you know, how intimidated a child must be with their parent, and both parents actually, being incredibly successful and, as I said, lifers. So,
It's tough.
anybody have any other questions for Gloria?
Wait,
Yeah,
somebody
I just
wants to say hello, people. Hold on.
I just wanted to say,
Question. Look, somebody wants to say hey.
Guys, congratulations. I hope you're safe.
We toast you, my friend.
Love you. I just want to thank you so much for all the years. I hope we can get better. And so thank you so much. Where is Frank? Frank.
I'm right here. Hi, Emilio.
Hi.
Wait. No, that's not Frank. Hold. There's Tracy.
Emilio, we were talking about you before, and the decision that you made to put your wife in the front of Miami Sound Machine, I think was an okay one. You know, I think it was a good one. I think it was. I also want to say that before she mentioned your legs.
Your legs, damn
You
it.
also mentioned that when
Your legs, he's in shorts right now.
thank you again. A little too much information, but I appreciate that. And she also.
Look at these legs, baby.
Wow, what's that?
And by the way,
Oh, look at that doggy.
Say hi.
Emilio, what I'm about to mention to you now, she also mentioned the first time she saw you, you were wearing tighter than tight shorts. Please don't show them to me now. Don't do that. I'm begging you, don't do that.
They were short shorts.
But we are, you know, we all of us praise your individual success. We praise your collective success. Thank you for being in our lives. You make it that much better. I want to thank everybody on this call for participating in this call, just being here. I am profoundly grateful. If there's anything that we can ever do for you, you please let us know. We're just on the other side of this. Be safe.
You do enough.
Be happy.
You do great.
I just want to tell you one thing. Through the years, you guys help us all the way from the beginning. And the reason we do a lot of things is because of you guys, especially all the DJs that made a lot of difference. And I think when you develop a relationship with people that help you, the only thing you can say is thank you so much for all your help. And you know something, through the years, the only thing you leave a whole legacy about music, but you leave a whole legacy about friends and people that we love. Like, Frank for so many years helped us. I want to thank you so much.
All of
thank
you.
So much for all of you for everything.
My pleasure.
It is
all mine.
all of our pleasure.
Larry wants to say hi to you, so I have to make sure I said hi to you for him.
If you keep the music coming, we'll keep the support going. Thank you so much for everything. God bless you all.
We love you guys.
Thank you.
I know you got sent my Cosmo recipe. If you really want to be a hit at your next party, even if it's a party of two, you don't have to make the whole quart jar, but you probably should because you will drink through it. I honed this recipe to perfection. I dare you to try it. I know you got sent the recipe. I'm a stickler about this thing. Everybody knows my Cosmos are famous, so I hope you enjoy them sometime this summer.
In Miami.
Miami. Wherever you are, we thank you very much.
Salud.
Have a wonderful day. God bless everybody. Be safe out there, okay?
Thanks, everybody.